We are live for our April 6th edition of Channel Engage, our second version of Channel Engage, Kevin. We are in the same location today.
We are. You brought the heat from Texas back up to Maryland. Thank you.
Yeah. But for the folks out there that don't know, Kevin's in his plush office and didn't even offer his office to me. He made me sit out on the porch. He shut the door. Won't let me interact with his wife or kids or dog. And there's literally hornets flying around me. So my life is in peril during this engage.
It is. Wow. Yeah, dog won't even go out there with you. Yeah, dog's smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. Thanks for bringing the heat, like I said. This should be a good one. Hopefully the dog doesn't bark. All right. Anyway, how's it going? Everything good?
There you go. There's your dog. Everything's good. Yeah, I'm visiting for the holidays here. So I'm coming in for DC for a couple of days and then back to Texas. So look, we've got a lot of new people joining today. So I definitely want to make sure we go over kind of the logistics of the day as per usual. And we're actually streaming this live kind of anywhere a channel program can broadcast. So we're doing this all over the place right now. But as an MSP viewing, this is your chance to anonymously influence the channel through your feedback. You're going to see 6 different channel engaged pitches today. Each presenter will have about 7 minutes to tell you about why their company is worth partnering with and tell you a little bit about their partner program. And then you're going to have some poll questions that you'll be able to fill out, giving direct feedback anonymously to them. There will also be an opportunity if you're interested in doing a product demo with them or getting more information or joining their sales newsletter, you'll have that option as well. In the moderator chat, you will only be chatting with our producer, Caitlin, backstage. Moderators and attendees and vendors cannot see your chat. So the public chat is for MSPs only. And maybe to get the public chat going, I'm not even seeing it right now. Why don't you tell us where you're calling in from today or joining us from? It's always fun to see where everybody's joining. Also, just keep an eye out for broadcast messages throughout the event. There'll be some messages that we'll put out there that are important for you to know about. As I mentioned, we'll have the 6 vendor presentations. In between that, you could call it a little intermission. We're going to have a cybersecurity panel led by Jennifer Bleem, and we're going to be joined by Ann Westerheim and Uncle Marvin B. And they're going to talk about how to sell cybersecurity as an MSP and the challenges around selling to small and mid-sized businesses. And then after all the presentations are done, we're going to have breakout sessions. You can go into multiple breakout sessions. It's your opportunity to go in and have conversations, ask any questions you might have had from their presentation directly to them. We've got several CEOs on the call today, so it's a unique experience to be able to jump in there. The last couple of months, we've talked about this thing we call channel meetings, and we're going to put up a poll. And it's basically, if as an MSP, if you're willing to join a small research group related to technologies you're interested in, the idea is to have 10 to 12 MSPs collectively in an hour session with a particular vendor. And it's really a focus group. It's to give them feedback, let them know what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, what you think their future looks like. And we actually reward you $100 for your participation. So if you haven't already said yes to channel meetings before, please fill out. If you're interested in participating, you can hit yes. If you've already said yes before, you can just hit no. That's fine. And Kevin, I think that's all the logistics. Do you have anything that I needed to add, or do you want to just jump right into things?
We'll jump right in, but we're seeing we got Detroit, Michigan, Denver, Southern California, Florida, someone down the street here in Annapolis, Maryland, Winnipeg, New York City, so all over the place. Good stuff. All right, so with that, we'll jump right in and we'll get our first presenter to comment up. First one is Chris Lohr. He's the Executive Vice President of Solace. He has 25 years of leadership experience in designing and delivering cybersecurity and IT operational strategies for the financial industry. He's helped thousands of organizations respond and recover from cybersecurity attacks and continues to do so today. Welcome, Chris.
Hey, thanks, Kevin. Appreciate being here. I'm missing out on an American Girl breakfast today. or lunch. So I'm actually very happy to be here. So thank you everyone for joining me today. I'm Chris Lair. I'm with Solace. We're based out of Austin, Texas. Today I'm coming to you live from Dallas, Texas, my hometown, and I'm going to go through quickly and talk about why Solace. So just to give you some marketing perspective of us, this is a marketing slide. Half our business is managed security, and the other half of our business is incident response. We've been around 20 years. We started in Austin 20 years ago, providing cybersecurity services to community banks around the country. And since then, we've grown, and obviously we provide cybersecurity services to pretty much any industry in the small and medium-sized space that you can think of. We're now global. We were acquired a few years ago by a insurance carrier called CFC, based out of London. So now we have teams obviously here in Austin and around the US, as well as London and the Gold Coast, Australia. We do have proven expertise. We come out of a highly regulated space, the banking space, and we take that experience and apply it to pretty much everything we do. Banks have had to do security for quite a long time. They've had auditors and regulators there every time. I come out of the banking space, I know that, and so we take that that expertise and bring it to real life. Whether we're working for you directly as the MSP that needs security, or we're working on behalf of your clients, doing that same cybersecurity work. So really, we have three types of our business. If you want to think about that, we have managed cybersecurity services. So those can be anywhere from managed EDR. So if you're an MSP who doesn't feel comfortable handling the heavy lifting of full-scale EDR, we can do that for you. We do not have our own product. We provide SentinelOne as part of that service. I'm going to detail, but if you want to learn more about that, join us in the breakout. Our advisory services are really coveted by MSPs and their clients. This is basically virtual security officer work. This is what our bread and butter and what we started doing 20 years ago, and we continue to do that. And we take a very bespoke approach. We try to create a security plan, security program, and all of those things that revolve around that, specific to your needs and your clients' needs. So you're not going to see a cookie cutter based approach. You're going to see something that comes to them that's very customized, and it's a program that they can basically execute and follow through on. But really where the kind of rubber meets the road is our incident response side of our business, and that flows directly into what we do from a security perspective. So we have been doing incident response, and we've been doing it a lot in the MSP community. A lot of MSPs come directly to us when they are in trouble, or if they have a client that doesn't have an incident response firm or a cybersecurity insurance policy. We are there to help. We understand the space very well, and we are there to help. And we take those lessons that we see happen to other companies that fall victim, and those flow right into the managed security work that we do, as well as our cybersecurity advisory group. So we are there to provide you advice, direction, and anything of that nature. And we are actually living and breathing these incidents every single day. So in fact, my entire morning this morning, I've been on phone calls this morning just with ransomware attacks and other things this morning. It's just one of those incredibly busy mornings. So let's just get down to the details real quick. We used to be an MSP. When CFC bought us, we spun that MSP business off to another company based in Austin. So we know the space really well. We do not compete with MSPs from a IT perspective. We don't do help desk work. We don't sell 365. We don't sell backups. We don't sell VoIP. We don't do those types of things. We leave that to you. But what we're here to do is augment you from a cybersecurity perspective and to help you with that. So some MSPs come to us and say, hey, I have some really key clients and I want you guys to help them out. And I'm going to blend that into the services we offer. Some MSPs say, hey, we only need help with penetration testing. Can you help with that? And we fill that gap. And some others come to us for incident response retainer purposes. So that's what we do. So our multiple offerings that we have is our offensive security, which is our testing. So we have a full staff that does every level of testing, even hardware testing. We've been retained to test ATMs as an example. We tear those apart and test the living daylights out of it. I mentioned our virtual CISO services, and really what's resonating well with the MSP community is our incident response readiness and our incident response retention services. So the readiness, we're working with you on IR plans, IR testing, all those things that are incredibly necessary as an MSP, as well as for your clients. And then we have retainers. So even for your clients that have cybersecurity insurance, you still may want to leverage us for that kind of initial check for the first 30 minutes, an hour, or even 4 hours, and to determine whether or not something indeed needs to be taken to insurance or taken to someone else, or whatever the case may be. We see the bloodshed every day. That's incredibly important in what flows in there. Additionally, we have our teams across the globe. So when it gets late, we can hand off to Australia. When it gets early, we can hand off to UK. So that's how it works. And again, our teams are made up of our managed security team, our professional services team, which focuses on the testing and the virtual security officer. We have a threat intel team that's here that can monitor the dark web and monitor for chatter that's related to your client. So if somebody is saying, hey, I've got access to Acme Incorporated, we can let you know and get involved very quickly to stop attack. We've done that. We've saved millions of dollars in both insurance claims as well as just money out of people's pockets. And my team that directly reports to me is business resumption, and that's a set of engineers that are specifically qualified and that work on these cases and help companies get back on their feet really quickly under cyber attack. So with that, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you joining me today, and I look forward to meeting more of you. We do have a breakout room that you can come to, as will everybody else, and we'll give you some swag if you come to that breakout room. And if you come to us afterwards and schedule something with us, you will also get a $25 Amazon gift card. So with that, I am done.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Chris. All right, so the polls should be going up right now, and you'll have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to fill out those polls. In the meanwhile, Kevin and I will do a little banter back and forth. Kevin, what's going on?
There's a lot going on, right? There's a lot of we're coming back into the event season, right? So I know you guys will have a whole crew over in Nashville. Is that next week?
Yeah, so Robin's boot camp will be happening, I think, Monday through Thursday, or Monday through Friday. Maybe it's Tuesday through Friday technically. But yeah, that's a pretty big event coming up, and then you've got the back-to-back Vegas. So feel for any of the vendors who are doing both, which is Kaseya Connect in Vegas, followed by Channel Partners in Vegas. Is a very long time to be in Las Vegas. So I will be at both of them. So yeah.
I think I will as well. I think it's 18 or 20 hours of flights back and forth over 7 days or 8 days. So that would be good. I mean, it would be the big Kaseya event, which we're looking forward to, and then the Channel Partners event just after that. So those would be two massive shows jumping back into the show season. So
yep,
very good.
Definitely. Another thing I wanted to mention, I didn't mention at the top, which is for the MSPs. So one, if you're a vendor and you're not seeing polls, that is correct. It's only meant for the MSPs, so there's nothing wrong with the screen. And then two, if you're an MSP and you're participating in all the polls and you stick around for the entire event, we will put up a poll at the end, and you'll have access to a $15 Uber Eats gift card. So we appreciate the time you're putting in, the feedback you're giving the vendors. And if you're listening to this live on any of the streams, you aren't able to participate in those unless you come into the live into our platform. So I've put the links out on most of the places we're streaming, and you can come join us and take advantage of the Uber Eats card and also give your feedback to the vendors. So it's not too late.
Not too late. Yeah, I should mention though, I think we sent out a note. We were able to negotiate a 15% discount for vendors that were looking to participate in that Kaseya event coming up, their Connect event at the end of the month. And I think we've got some other discounts with some of the other main vendors out there as well for some of their big events. So stay tuned for that. If any questions on that, feel free to submit a message to Caitlin backstage, and she can give you the details on that.
Yeah, so yeah, we've got deals with Kaseya, we've got deals with 7-Figure MSP and Build It. So if you're a vendor and you're interested in participating in any of those, reach out to us, and we'll see what we can get you one of the better offers on the tables. All right, Kevin, I think we can move on to a former colleague of ours.
Former colleague and the newest Miami Heat fan. This is Mr. Mark Winter, VP of Products at VolScan and Rapid Fire Tools. He has 20. If you don't know Mark, then shame on you, because he's got 25 years of experience in the IT field, with the last 15 years dedicated to providing software solutions to the VAR and service provider channels. Take it away, Mark.
Yeah, right. Thanks so much, Kevin. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you at Connect in Vegas. So I'm Mark Winter, VP of Products at Rapid Fire Tools, and of course, we're a Kaseya company. So today I'm going to talk about common vulnerabilities, what they are, why you really owe it to your team and your customers to kind of use a great tool like VolScan to deliver vulnerability management services to your customers to keep you and them more secure. And I hope by the end of this pitch that if you're not already considering or using VolScan, you'll take the decision to look deeper and at least sign up for a demo. So cybercrime is up and more effective. In fact, it's kind of a growth industry. Cyber attacks are becoming more and more commonplace. About 2/3 or over 2/3 of small businesses have experienced an attack or a breach, and ramifications really can be huge. So you're going to see a lot of stats today, so I'm not going to delve into every one of these. But with cyber attacks on the rise, the likelihood of a breach.
Mark, sorry to interrupt.
Yep.
If you're not sharing your screen.
Thank you. Okay. Rookie mistake.
I'll stay on here with you too. All right, you good? I'll
good now.
Take it away. Good, go ahead.
Fantastic. Yep. So, like I said, with attacks on the rise, the likelihood of a security breach no longer a question of if, but more when. And if you haven't had a customer falling prey yet, consider yourself lucky. But luck's not going to last if you fail to detect and mitigate issues. But I do want to call attention to that last stat. There was a record number of new vulnerabilities or flaws found last year, like 26,448. That's over 70 new vulnerabilities found a day, and critical vulnerabilities were up 59% year over year. And that's why scanning and providing your customers with vulnerability management is so critical. Vulnerabilities can exist on a network for years before they're exploited, and proactively scanning can significantly reduce you and your client's security risk profile. So you really want to identify and fix those issues before they're exploited to save you and your customers time, money, and a lot of frustration. And forgetting to implement a patch can really be costly. So scan for and find failed and overlooked patches more efficiently with the right tools. And of course, vulnerability scanning aligns with many of the compliance standards that are out there. So what are we scanning for anyway? So from NIST, CVEs are common vulnerabilities and exposures, and basically it's a dictionary of publicly known issues that provide a baseline index for the security community to better communicate, really. So why scan for CVEs? So we all know about Patch Tuesday, but it's more than just OSs. Flaws and vulnerabilities are found everywhere. A couple of examples. So late last year, VMware released patches that addressed 3 critical vulnerabilities. Fortinet fixed a SSL VPN software problem. Microsoft Patch Tuesday, 80 vulnerabilities, 2 day, total of which 9 were critical. And even Apple's not immune, right? So they provided security updates for multiple vulnerabilities in Mac OS, Safari, and more. Oracle fixed over 300 issues. And let's take a look at a CVE. So from the NIST site, this is actually a critical vulnerability with a score of 9.9 out of a possible 10. So that's pretty severe, pretty bad. Note the date published, October of last year. But the patches didn't come out until January 20th. It was a full 3 months from when the CVE was documented and published to when there was a patch available. So if you're relying on patching, it could be months where there's a critical vulnerability leaving the network and systems exposed. Hackers love this. They have tons of time to wreak havoc, and it's not uncommon. So this was also late last year, and another great example of why you got to scan. Microsoft warns of a new 0-day, no fix yet for exploited Exchange server flaws. So over 90 defects, 85 in Windows, 15 of those being critical. But I want you to pay attention to this. They said they're still dealing with 2 Exchange defects from the previous month. There was not a patch yet. Those of you relying on patching to inform you of issues, man, you're woefully ignorant in a lot of cases. And ignorance is not bliss here. You might be thinking, sure, Mark, there wasn't a patch. What good is knowing about it then? Well, Microsoft published guidance on how to mitigate the problem. So if you knew, you could harden the network against it. The key point here, you got to know if there's an issue in order to fix it. And if you're not looking, you're never going to know. So I hope it's clear. You really need to discover vulnerabilities on your networks before the hackers. They're using the same tools to find vulnerabilities so they can hack faster. Remember, there are an average of over 70 new vulnerabilities found every day. So what are your options? First, there's a lot of long-time enterprise class tools out there. They're good, but they're expensive, overkill for small businesses, and difficult to set up and use, and not really designed for MSPs. It's really clear that none of these are supporting the MSP market. And on the other hand, you've got community feeds and shareware or homegrown vulnerability scanners. They're not multi-tenant, they're not supported, and an IT tech would have a real tough time relying on this approach without a huge time commitment that they probably don't have. So that hole in the middle, that's where we come in. That's where we position, easy for me to say, position Volscan. It's got everything you need and nothing you don't. It's complete, automated, and priced right. Volscan is purpose-built for MSPs. It makes it easy to provide vulnerability management for your clients to identify both internal and external vulnerabilities. There's a portal where you're going to manage all of your clients. It's multi-tenant. Set up schedules to easily do regular vulnerability scans. There's a dashboard that allows you to focus on issues that need addressing. You can automatically create alerts and even tickets into PSAs for critical and high severity issues, and a lot of ways to do all that. You can filter out false positives. There's also brief and detailed reports to help you understand and communicate the results to your customers. So very quickly, here's a suggested kind of a pricing approach for different types of customers, and Volscan makes it easy to do with the scheduled scanning. So you could do ad hoc scanning, charging $500 and up, depending upon the size of the network. You could sell quarterly reviews where you fix all medium and high issues on a quarterly basis, but also scan monthly and fix the critical and high much sooner. Provide a monthly SLA for medium and up vulnerabilities, but do weekly scanning and again, take care of those really critical ones much more quickly. And for very security conscious clients, provide a weekly remediation for everything with daily scanning for critical vulnerabilities. And you can do that with Volscan, like I said, very easily. So what sets this apart from the competition, it's easy to deploy to all your clients to provide, again, both internal and external vulnerability scanning. There's even a lightweight agent that you can use to scan remote systems. It's a fixed cost to you, and it can be as low as around $10 per customer per month for unlimited scans across unlimited assets. And the dashboard makes it easy to filter vulnerabilities, mark false positives to reduce noise, and even create tickets, like I said earlier, in top PSA systems. So thanks for joining. I really appreciate your time. Please join me in our breakout room if you have any questions. Also enter to win for a chance to win a $150 Amazon gift card. I also have an ebook on that pricing that you can get if you come by the breakout room. There's a video training program. And of course, we'd love for you to sign up for a demo. So that's all I got. Scan long and prosper. Thanks so much.
Awesome. I like the outro, Mark. Thank you. All right. So the polls for Mark and Volscan should be going up right now.
Great. Well, Matt, I'm going to share my screen. How about that?
Go for it.
I'll share my screen. At least if I get this right. My computer. Oh, no, it's making me upload a file. I might not get this right. I should get this right.
Did you not go through the training that Garrett gave earlier?
No, yeah, Garrett, my goodness. I'll just share an entire screen. How about that? So I'm going to show everyone is, we've been talking about, you see my screen now, right? I'm going to show is the kind of the new experience when MSPs log into the platform. You'll see this access to partner portals. We've been talking about, the PRM that we've launched and the ability for MSPs to come in and manage all of their vendors in one single platform. And so we've launched this called My Technology Stack. And this is a sample MSP. And you can see these are the vendors that I'm currently partnered with, and I'm leveraging their PRM inside the platform. So if you look at somebody like Mail Protector, you can come in here, and if you're a partner of Mail Protector, you can click on any one of their documents here that are brandable content documents. You can look at their technical documentation. You can look at blogs, recent videos, but you can hop in here, select a document, take one of your saved assets or your files, drop your logo on here, resize it, all that fun stuff you need to do to take some of the enablement materials and start making it your own and sending it out to the marketplace. So this is I think a great next step for the MSPs. We've got 100 plus vendors that are part of the platform. We're rolling these out in phases. We've got about maybe 12 to 15 in here now, setting up their accounts. And you'll see another, probably 40 or 50 here in the next 60 days. But the great news is it's a one-stop shop now for the MSPs to go in and find all of the enablement materials, organize all the enablement materials from their vendors, and then they can go in and actually chat with all of their vendors inside of the platform. I think Blackpoint's got a great one. So if I want to go in and chat with, Cara, and say, hey, I need a piece of document, or hey, who's my account manager, or what's on the roadmap, you can interact with your vendors in one simple location now. So wanted to show this to the MSPs in attendance because we really have worked hard to really consolidate this marketplace and just make it super easy for you to find all your favorite vendors. And then, these are the ones you might be working with, but if you're interested in working with all these other ones, just simply add to your stack and the request will be received. And then we'll show you all the vendors here as we progress. But just want to share that real quick. I know we're up on time. And wow, that's a pretty cool stop screen. Let me stop my share here.
Yep.
How'd I do?
You did good. No, I'll have other things I can add later. But I think we can move on to the next panel or next speaker before the panel comes up afterwards.
All right, let's do that. So our third to present in Channel Gauge is Brendan Gettert, CEO of Curated Cyber. He's a cybersecurity practitioner and professional speaker with 24 years of experience with a strong background in compliance, governance, IT infrastructure, management, and information security. He has a passion for cybersecurity, helping his clients identify and mitigate risks to an acceptable level. So with that, take it away.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you for the introduction. I will also be seeing you guys at Kaseya Connect, so I'll be there at the end of the month as well. We've been on conference buzz. So this is my last talk this week. I've been giving several talks this week, so I'm excited to get through this. But I'm not going to waste time on any of that. I want to jump right in. So yeah, I'm the co-founder and CISO and CEO at Curated Cyber. We are essentially a virtual information security officer firm is what we offer. And I'm going to really kind of jump right into it here. Basically, we're going to go, what is an information security officer? What's the difference between a VISO, CISO, all the different fractional information security officers? We're going to touch base on all that real quick. We're going to go deep dive into really what we do. And when I say deep dive, I'm talking within 7 minutes. And then ultimately reasons to hire a VCISO. So what is an information security officer? Basically, we are we're the senior level executive that that organizations, hire and use to be responsible for protecting the data. It's all about protecting the data. It's the confidentiality, integrity. It's called the C and availability. It's the CIA triad. We basically help manage all that risk. So it's all about risk. I mentioned, what's the difference between VISO, VISO, CISO as a service, fractional information security officer, VCISO. Today's talk, all the same thing. So just a lot of different verbiage, but for what we're going to talk about, all the same thing. All right, so this is where we're going to land. This is where we're going to take the red pill, if we've all seen the Matrix, and we're going to really dive into really what we do. So we're just going to start at the top, risk management. Basically, we manage the risk. We go through, we identify risk, we assess threats, we look for vulnerabilities, we determine the risk, We implement strategies and control to reduce that risk for the MSP. We monitor it basically as part of an information security program. We come in and, let's be honest, people won't really want to know 4 things when it comes to cybersecurity. What's the risk? What's the likelihood of it occurring? What's the cost if it occurs? And what's the cost to fix it? So we speak that language when we're talking about risk management. The information security program and governance program, we help bridge the gap between IT, compliance, and governance. We can speak the governance language, we can speak the IT 101011, and we can also speak compliance. And so we can speak those languages. So we've been around long enough to learn those languages. The IT strategic plan, we come in with an annual plan, come in with a roadmap. Here's what we're going to do this year. Here's our monthly meetings we're going to schedule. Here's the deliverables that we want to deliver on, which is what we're talking about right now. And let's get it done. Let's make it happen. Cybersecurity policies, we write, we create, we store, and then we update the following year. We wash, rinse, repeat, do it all over again. And this is a set of your guidelines that you define. We write these for your MSP on how you're going to protect your digital assets and how you're going to protect your customers. This includes acceptable use policy, password policy, information security policy, BYOD policy, NUFON policies. Training, we come in and we provide security awareness training to your staff, to your employees, and we make it fun and energetic. It's a great time and everybody loves it. But examples. We use a lot of that to educate. Is we pull up and here's what's going on in the world. Vendor management, not enough time for a vendor management conversation, but we manage your vendor management program for you between policies, identifying your critical vendors, and then conducting reviews on your critical vendors. Business continuity and incident response, a lot of this, 2 very different things, but the processes are the same. We oversee your business continuity plan and your incident response plan, but we also take care of roundtable exercises. We shake those trees, we see what falls out, we put it on paper, and we make suggestions on how to improve your program based off of that. We are also, we stay current on what's going on in the world, whether it's compliance, governance, technology. We have a team here that's always on the up and up. We're part of many groups. So we bring that information to your MSP. Breach response, we are also very heavily involved with breaches, and we help with your cyber insurance. And if you don't have insurance, that's another path we can go down as well. But we know how to navigate those roads to get you to the next destination. So that is what Curated Cyber does. We're basically a fractional information security officer. We manage all of this for you, and that's what you're paying for. And like I said at the beginning, we bridge that gap between business, IT, compliance, governance. We live there, and we love it there. It's a great spot to be. It's one of the best places in the world. We don't speak nerdy, and I say that in a very lovely way, but we don't speak 101011, but we can if we have to. We know those languages, and we can speak the language of the board. We can speak the language of executives. We are very vendor agnostic. We can come in, we can see what you have, and we'll work with what you have. We're not here to make all these recommendations that you need all this software, that you have to go here. This is about what's best for your MSP and what makes you scalable. So that's that summary. Reasons to hire a virtual information security officer, let's call it what it is: cost. It's a way for you to get access and immediate expertise of a chief information security officer, but you just share an information security officer with other MSPs. So you don't have to pay bonuses, no profit sharing, no insurance, no ongoing training. That's all on our side of the house. Like I said, we keep up with compliance and regulation. We are a trusted advisor. We can mentor if you lose your information security officer. And my closing thoughts: we have that playbook. We create that playbook for you, and we can help you on your roadmap. So join us in the breakout room for fun and games and adventures. We're going to be doing a drawing for some AirPods. So hop on over. Any questions, find us on Facebook and LinkedIn. Thank you for your time.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Brandon. All right. So the polls should be going up here shortly.
All right. So let me do another quick presenting of my screen. This will be targeted toward the vendors on the call today. Let's see, share screen. And I'm just doing my entire window here
God,
again.
The amount of pollen, Kevin, that it's like picking up on my computer already.
Yeah, I try to clean it off. Sorry, it's Maryland in the spring. So this is a view sample vendor view. The vendors logging in. It showed in the last break where an MSP can request access and you can grant access to your PRM, or you can have a conversation with them if it's a prospect. But then you can also chat with your existing channel in here as well, and then you can go out and invite your channel to jump in. And about 11 days, we'll have syncs to Salesforce and HubSpot and these popular CRMs to pull in your channel and proactively manage them that way. But so this is kind of a view when a vendor logs in, and then as I'm a vendor and I'm trying to add more content, just simply go in here, upload the content that you want to add, create different tags for what type of content you're adding, and made it that easy. I don't know who that guy is, but yeah, the whole point of this platform, and I say this often when chatting with Matt and the team, is that we want to focus 100% of our effort on the 20% of the PRM that's actually used between the vendors and the channel. And the way we're doing this is a benefit to both, right? We're consolidating the vendor experience for the MSPs, so they have their entire stack in one platform, and then inversely for the vendor, you're getting significantly increased utilization because the channel's logging in to interact with several of their vendors, which will naturally increase your utilization. That's one of the biggest issues with this whole PRM marketplace, is that they're great PRMs out there, but they typically average 10-15% utilization if you're lucky. And so we're going to flip the script, and we're going after the $60 billion marketplace of PRM. So if you're a PRM out there, we're coming after you. What else did I miss? Did I miss anything, Matt?
No, I mean, you covered it. I mean, again, it gets back to the traditional PRM's a one-to-one experience. We're taking it to a one-to-many, making it just exponentially easier for an MSP to access the resources that their vendors are providing. And on the vendor side, you may already have a partner portal. This can be a supplemental to it. Doesn't have to replace it. It can really be a supplement to it, because again, as Kevin mentioned, the 10 to 15%, if we can get another 10, 20, 30% engaged in your resources, your churn is going to go down. You're going to have better experiences with your partners. So it's really a win-win on both sides. But Kevin, we are now up on our kind of what I referred to as our intermission. It's our panel. It's our second channel engage panel, and I'm delighted. I'm going to bring up Jennifer first here, who's going to moderate. Hey, Jennifer, how's it going?
I am good. I've never been in intermission before. This is cool.
No, we appreciate it. We wanted to really bring some additional thought leadership back into these events. And, this is a cyber-focused group of vendors that are here. And so we reached out to you and you obliged. And so I'm going to bring Uncle Marv and Ann on here. And then, Jennifer, really, it's your 15 minutes. And you'll hear a chime at the 14-minute mark with 1 minute remaining. And you got your own?
I've got my stopwatch, but you can chime, please.
Okay.
Keep me honest, for sure.
All right. So this is your time, so go for it.
Love it. Awesome. Okay, so thank you both. I appreciate it. Let me do a quick introduction. So we have 15 minutes to talk about selling cybersecurity to small and medium-sized businesses. Piece of cake. We're going to get it done in 14 minutes. No problem. I am Jennifer Bleem. I am a sales coach for MSPs. I specialize in cybersecurity, and I've got a best-selling book. It is called Simplified Cybersecurity Sales for MSPs. I've got Ann Westerheim with me. She is right near Boston, Massachusetts. She's a security-focused MSP, has a team of 15 people. She recently also released a book. And then I've got Uncle Marv, Marvin B. is with us. He is from Fort Lauderdale, and he's an IT business owner, 25 years now. Again, we call him Uncle Marv. He has his own podcast, and my job is really just to ask some great questions. And Marv and Ann, you're going to answer them, and we're going to blaze through this. This is going to go great. Short, 14 minutes or so. And I want to start out with a couple of different perspectives on selling cybersecurity. Some people approach this from like a low, medium, high. You can get my silver, my gold, my platinum. Some people are like, no, it's my way or the highway. Is it required? Is it not required? So I want to pose that question to each of you. And I'll start with you on this question. How are you positioning cybersecurity when you're selling it?
We really lead with it and try to get people up to date to understand what's happening in the world. So we strongly advise basically everything we have in our plan, which kind of increases in scope every year. But we do allow people, we have kind of our minimum, which is, the basic stuff, the antivirus, the patching and all of that. That's absolutely required. And then we strongly advise and use our QBR meetings to get people educated and ultimately with the goal of getting them basically engaged with the full stack.
Okay, so then leading in, typically you sell the bare minimum and then you use your QBRs as a way to educate and then upsell.
Yeah, I know that there's some folks out there that have a very strict policy. You do everything or we don't work with you. I kind of view that as a doctor who won't take an unhealthy patient. You maybe have to work with them over time to get them where they need to be.
Got it.
So it's not that we try to start at the bottom, but we realize some people aren't really going to get it. If they know somebody who's had an incident, they're far more likely to realize, like, let's just do it all. So we're not. I know people have different approaches. We try to meet people where they are.
Okay, so and then your that low option does have some of the basics built in.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that, you're mitigating some level of risk, if not all risk. So
yeah, absolutely. So we call that foundational security.
Got it. All right, Uncle Marv, how do you approach this?
So we approach it similar. We have basically an essentials package, and that is the baseline for everybody. So you're going to get some security regardless of what you do. I liken it to the car analogy. When you go to buy a car nowadays, as opposed to back in the 80s or 70s, you didn't have all the security and all the safety stuff in them. Now, when you go to buy a car, you're going to have anti-lock brakes. You're going to have the airbags. You're going to have the passive locks. So some of that just has to be in there. And that's how we do our essentials package. And then we do a little different thing where everything else is an add-on. So if a customer needs secure remote desktop, or if they need that awareness training, those are add-ons. So they can kind of look at us where we're not trying to sell them everything, because we know that a lot of our customers now are like, oh, well, you're just trying to sell me. No, we're not. We're trying to protect you and do the best that we can. So here's what we offer. And when you need those things, here they are.
So yours is a package with the bare minimum, maybe a little more than the bare minimum. It's a solid package, but then the add-on pieces are almost they're almost riders, almost like a build your own adventure type of thing.
Yeah, because we've got clients, I'm sure like others, where some clients do require some things for compliance, or they may require things for the new insurance requirements. The insurance companies are kind of like my biggest seller for the last 12 to 18 months.
So Ann, let me pivot back to you. So you've got your solid package, and then do you offer the other things as options, individual a la carte pieces, or do you have other layers that you're selling as a bundle?
Yeah, we don't really call them layers, but we'll we group a couple of things in place that we feel like it. So it's roughly low, medium, and high.
Okay.
And then things like SIM maybe will maybe not for everybody's situation. We do tend to roll out security awareness training though, just about across the board. Then you get another challenge. You got to get people engaging with it, but I feel like that's such an important component, and that's relatively inexpensive.
Got it. Okay, so we've talked about leading with cybersecurity, building a cybersecurity stack, having this conversation with the end users, getting them on board. How do you speak about cybersecurity? How do you explain what this is? And Marv, we'll start with you.
So, of course, that's going to be different based on the client, where we have a lot of legal clients and we have some medical offices where they kind of know what it is. They know that they have some things that they have to do. it's a little easier conversation. It's the other clients that are just, regular store people, or "Yeah, I've just got a few people in my office. I don't need that." Well, you may not until you do. So, so the biggest thing, first of all, is trying to gain their trust in that we're trying to protect them. And one of the things that I would do is I would use some other publications that I would take from, say, the medical office. The HIPAA journal was a open publication that people could get, and we would just take bits and pieces of those stories where they would show somebody that got hacked or got breached, and we would just use that as a way in saying, hey, look, you're similar to them in what you use. We might want to think about this. And then if they're willing to say, oh, well, tell me more, then we can walk in and tell them more.
I love it. Stories are so, so powerful. That's one of the things I talk about with my clients all the time. And how about you? Do you talk about cybersecurity? Do you talk about risk? Like, what's that conversation sound like?
Yeah, I think really focusing on risk to get people to understand what the impact is of not really taking security seriously. Folks who have either had an incident or know somebody who's had an incident, it's real to them. So that makes a big difference. And also talking about examples, trying to get them to relate, because still in this day and age, people think, oh, we're a small. I'm kind of amazed at how many people think, oh, we're a small business, we're not going to get hit. And by using those examples, maybe it opens up their eyes. The attacks are indiscriminate. They're automated. And I do find it tough. Like we have to try to keep up with everything that's going on.
Yes.
It's a challenge. So programs like this where you can see a couple of different vendors all at once really make a big impact. But it's challenging for us to stay up to date on everything that's going on. Kind of curate the right technology stack that's really going to fit, because there's not an unlimited budget, but you want to do the right, smart, and affordable things that are really going to mitigate the most risk, and get folks thinking it's not this annoying IT budget that just increases. It's about business risk, and there's a lot of things that people will invest in for a business, for a lot, marketing, a lot of other things, and this is one element of business. It's not technology.
Yes, and you mentioned how complex it is, because you're coming here and you're hearing all of the vendor pitches, and what you're hearing are the features of the solution, which is what you need. You need to know, what are the features, what protections will this provide to my clients? But then you've got to, especially if you are the owner and the salesperson, you've got to take off that tech hat, put on the salesperson hat, which means you've got to be able to say, okay, the feature was deep packet inspection. Well, please don't go to the attorney and say, I'm going to sell you deep packet inspection. Yeah. Like, no one wants to. Okay, MSPs, we all want to buy that, but your end user is like, I don't know why I need that. Like, what is that? I don't care. Yeah. And so you've got to be able to stay up with the threats, parse the information you're hearing from the vendors, translate that into a talk track that is compelling, and that's a big leap sometimes. So how do you handle that? How often do you change your talk track? How do you convert features into benefits for your clients and prospects?
Yeah, well, we try to make it really simple and just try to, like with the deep packet inspection, just saying, hey, a lot of people think if you see that HTTPS, the site's safe, it just means there's an encryption, there's a certificate on it, but people can pass along anything. And when you get people like, oh, I didn't realize that, you can maybe have more of a conversation. And then we have to deploy everything. We have to deploy it well. There's a lot of operational efficiency in rolling things out, because you roll out security and suddenly everything's blocked for people. They get really annoyed. So you got this window of opportunity where you really have to execute well. And I think also then understand the limits. We heard from Chris, and knowing what can we do internally. I think Mark had the example too. You can do some internal scans, etc. But when do you need tools to do things? Maybe when do you need to collaborate with another partner to really get what the client needs? So I think being able to understand the entire spectrum of what's available, what can you offer, and what can we really execute on and deliver well for our clients as well.
I love that. So, Marv, let me throw this question at you. You mentioned we've talked a little bit about the changing economy and the just tides that are shifting and keeping up with those trends. One thing we're hearing a lot about is cyber insurance or cyber liability insurance. Is that conversation coming up in your sales calls? And if so, is that a benefit to you? How are you leveraging that trend to your benefit?
Well, it is coming up a lot. And essentially in the fact that, security companies, I'm sorry, insurance companies recently have had to rethink how they were doing insurance. They've, had to pay out a lot more than they wanted to. And they're doing this thing called reinsurance, where they're now, spreading their risk across other insurers. So they've come back, and I've had several customers that are just simply trying to renew their insurance. And they're now being told, well, you've got to add these things now. So again, they're helping me because we're no longer the ones pushing it. However, trying to explain to the customer why this is happening is really our challenge. And, in Florida, I think we have a little bit of an advantage because we can say, look, every time a hurricane hits, we've got to now do more to protect ourselves in the future. We've got to, have the impact windows. You've got to have your flood insurance. And they understand adding those things. So I just try to liken it to, for your business, for your computers and network, we now have to add these layers, and trying to explain to them what those layers are in terms of understanding multi-factor authentication is kind of like having a doorman at your building. Somebody's got to check with them before they get in. Explaining to them that, we can't afford to live in a world where our doors are left open. I tell people my wife is from Ohio, and when we first met and I went up to visit, they never locked their doors, their house, their cars. Well, in Fort Lauderdale, we lock everything. And there's a reason, because in Fort Lauderdale, people try to get in a lot more. So having them understand those, examples and relate them to cyber insurance, cybersecurity, I think has helped.
I love the analogy of rethinking. It's really, well, the insurance company is rethinking things. So like they're the bad guys. We just simply have to keep up. So that's a great position. I like that. And how about you? How is that the whole trend of cyber liability insurance? How's that shifting your conversations?
Yeah, so I think early on, in a way, cyber insurance was a bit of a moral hazard. There's folks out there like, oh, I'm not going to worry about having any protection in place. I've got the insurance, so I'm all good to go. So that obviously has changed, and we're getting a lot of requests to help people decipher what's in all these questionnaires. And then every once in a while, we were in a meeting recently where somebody else in the organization, like, oh yeah, we've got a great policy, lots of coverage, and it's like, I don't know how, because there's no way that questionnaire could have been accurate, but so I think there's a learning curve there. But what's nice is it's opened up the door to conversation. So they're asking us, what's MFA? Why do we need it everywhere? The dialogue has now been forced. So.
Yeah, and I love the shift of dialogue, because now it's not just, oh, Marv is trying to sell me something else. It's Marv is rescuing me from the horrible insurance company.
Yes.
Maybe you don't position it quite that dramatically, but it does shift things. So, man, thank you both so much. I appreciate your time. Matt, Kevin, thank you for putting this together. And I know you're super gracious. You wanted me to mention that I've got an event coming up in June. It's June 13 and 14 in Orlando. It's called the Ultimate IT Growth Conference, and it's designed for MSPs that are $1 to $5 million in revenue. If you're a little bit below that 1 million, you are 100% welcome. But this is all about unique approaches to growing your business. So, of course, sales and marketing, but also some things on the operations side. It's very intimate, very workshop centric, and it's truly a time to work on your business. And so I would love to have you there. This is your personal invitation. If you go to mspsalesrevolution.com/ultimate, you can find out more information. And if you have questions, reach out to me. I'm on social, or you may already have my email address. So, Matt, I'll hand this back over to you.
Excellent. Thank you all so much. That was a great panel. And yeah, I will echo. I had a chance to attend Jennifer's inaugural event. And one of the biggest takeaways for me was just how engaged the MSPs were at the event. Everybody's running businesses, so of course there's always a time or two that you have to step out and take a phone call. But really, everybody was in their seats the entire time and really focused on the content. So it was a great event. So definitely check it out. All right, Kevin, I think we can keep moving along here.
Keep this thing moving forward. All right, so our next presenter is Mike Reeves, CISSP and Technical Director at Bitdefender. He's our fourth presenter today. So with over 23 years of industry experience, Mike is a true pioneer of cloud security. The ability to translate engineering concepts to business audience is unmatched. Enjoys spending time with his family, playing bass guitar, awesome, and four-wheeling in his Jeep, especially at the same time, even more awesomer. All right, take it away, Michael.
Thanks so much. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Looking good.
Awesome. Well, again, thanks so much for your time. I know I've got about 7 minutes. We're going to be talking a little bit about how you can secure your defenses for your small, medium business customers. And so I call this detection, protection, response, and security hardening across your endpoints. And I want to start off our discussion today about just letting you know who Bitdefender is. As I travel the world talking about cybersecurity, not a lot of customers and partners know who Bitdefender is. So Bitdefender's company been around for about 20 years now, and we're really a pioneer in machine learning and AI. Very early in the machine learning AI phase of security architectures, Bitdefender jumped in and introduced AI and machine learning into their product back in 2008, before the term next gen was even coined a marketing term. And so as such, early pioneer, we've got a huge data lake that we use and mine to produce just a really fantastic product that allows you to defend your customers' infrastructure against attack. We process about 30 billion threat queries every single day. We find about 400 threats per minute. And one of the most exciting things about Bitdefender, as I've been with the company now for 3 years, is that we produce ransomware decryptors, and we make them available free on our website. We've got about 32 of them now that are freely given on our website. So if you or someone you know has been attacked by ransomware, please Google Bitdefender ransomware decryptor. I was at a conference, actually the last Kaseya conference last year, and two gentlemen approached me. They had the look of terror on their face. Their company had just got hit by ransomware that morning. They heard my talk and came up to see me and said, "Hey, we are under attack now. Our company has been held hostage by ransomware." We went right to my computer screen, looked at our ransomware decryptor. We had a ransomware decryptor for them. And as of this moment, about a $1.6 billion in savings based upon those ransomware decryptors. Really, really exciting work that we do. We work a lot with law enforcement. And the other thing that was really interesting to me about Bitdefender is about half of our employees are actual engineers. They are research and developers, threat hunters. So we have a very, very small sales and marketing department. And what that means for you is we do not compete for business. We are 100% channel focused business. And we're here to help you and support you and let us stay up to date on the latest threats, build that intelligence into our product, and help you to defend your customers' environments. So I want to talk to you a little bit about how to do that. I've been in the industry a long time, and whether you're working in the Fortune 50 or you're working with small businesses, there's basically 3 critical requirements to defend your customers' assets. And the first one is what we call the prevention layer of security. This is your automated security controls. This is basically the software that is resident on your various assets, whether those assets are servers or workstations, whatever, laptops, phones. It's the automated security controls that are detecting incidents in your environment and then responding to those incidents with defense mechanisms. And that is what you want in this particular layer of your security architecture. Is you want really high efficacy. You want automation to be able to both detect and defend your environment. Automated way, very rapid response, near instantaneous response to block threats across multiple threat vectors in your environment. If something slips through that layer, you have a second layer that's really critical to think about in your security architecture, and this is your detection response layer. And what you want in this particular layer, because this is where your human resources live, they are responding to things that move past your prevention layer, and now time is of the essence. So what you need in this particular layer of your architecture, if you're thinking about defending your customers' environments, you want to be able to have great visibility across all of your threat vectors in your environment, whether they be endpoints or email, identity, network-based threats. And then you want tools to be able to quickly respond to those threats. And again, time is of the essence because now your automated security controls have failed. So you need humans to be able to step in and take corrective action based upon the visibility that they have. And one of the things about Bitdefender in this particular area is that we have security operations center. So if you want to outsource this to Bitdefender, you can absolutely do that. But there is a third layer, and I want to spend just about 30 seconds talking about this. And this is the hardening layer. This is where you are analyzing risks in your environment and actually reducing the attack surface to make it more difficult for intruders to enter your environment. And if you do all of these 3 things, you've got a great security architecture for your asset-based security. Bitdefender covers all 3 of these areas. So if you are looking to consolidate your security tool set and really integrate all of these technologies, you can do that with Bitdefender. We have a product that's called Gravity Zone. We've got about 22,000 partners today running this suite of products in this area. They're all integrated, API-based, single multi-tenant management console. Looking forward to talking to you in our breakout session if you have any questions about this. And if you want a demo, go ahead and just send us an email to ipsm@bitdefender.com. Reference this channel program, April Pitch, and we'll be happy to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Michael. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
All right. The polls should be going onto the screen right now for you. And okay. So what else is going on, Kevin? We've got a big All-Star event coming up, April 20th, a couple weeks from now. So for those who don't know, and I think Caitlin will put a link for that event. We've been doing these events over the last couple of years where we bring in some quote unquote celebrity guests along with pure thought leadership from the channel. And so this year, we announced at the last Engage, we announced that it's an Olympic theme, and we've got Mary Lou Retton and Carl Lewis. So we're going to have 2 different interviews throughout that day. But we also have 4 different panels. We've got industry leaders from all across kind of the different areas, and I'd say the panels are heavily cybersecurity, which isn't a surprise. It's a pretty big topic in this space, but just lots of thought leadership, and you can check out more information on the link that Caitlin is sending on the broadcast message. I don't know if you had anything you wanted to add on to that all-star stuff before I went into some more logistical things. You still there? Can I?
No, I put
Just
a
making
post
sure.
out there that I too was, it was Junior Olympics baseball 1991, but it still counts. I can still say it.
Must have been a
we
small
got,
town. Nothing.
it was pretty legit. I mean, we were, Maryland team. It was down in Tallahassee, Florida, and played against and with some people that went to play professional ball, D1 ball. A couple guys that were in the minor leagues for the Orioles. So that was I said it was like my Uncle Rico moment from Napoleon Dynamite. Only coach put me in. Threw that football over that mountain, kind of a thing. But anyway, this will be a great event. Enough about me.
Well, just a reminder again for anybody out there who's watching live, if you want to join us and participate in the panels or the polls and take advantage of the Uber Eats gift card, the $15 Uber Eats gift card, definitely come into the platform to do that. Other than that, I just wanted to remind everybody there will be breakout sessions after all the presentations have been completed. So we have 2 more. After the final one is complete, we'll put up the final poll, and then there will be a final poll that you can do, a second final poll, where you can actually vote on who you thought gave the best pitch or best presentation today. And Kevin, I know you're about to do an introduction. I've been watching this gentleman backstage. He looks like he's like a prize fighter getting ready for a fight. So
I was just about to say it's been great watching him pace back and forth.
Yeah. So here you go.
So with that, it's my pleasure to introduce a fellow Washington Capitals hockey fan, Michael Crane, CEO of Solutions Granted. He's a U.S. Army combat veteran and founded Solutions Granted in 2001. His commitment to the channel by offering a consumption-based model with no commitments or minimums truly makes it easy for every MSP, MSSP, and VAR to be successful. Welcome, Michael.
Thanks for having me, Kevin. I'm all excited to come in here, and then you want to talk about the Washington Capitals, which I absolutely love. But then it's a sad day in Mudville because we have made the playoffs since 2014, but not this year. So I'm feeling a little pain on that one today. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get us started. I'll get my screen sharing happening here. Hope everybody is having a good day and enjoying the amazing content that's taking place. My name is Michael Crane, and I am the CEO and founder of Solutions Granted, and we are a master managed security services provider. Some of you might be thinking to yourself, what in the world does that even mean? Well, very simply put, we are an MSSP for the channel. We own, operate, and maintain our own 24/7 security operations center. We don't outsource. We don't oversee it. We do nothing but keep it here in the United States to support you and your customers. So when the proverbial 2 a.m. on a Tuesday starts to happen, you know that you've got somebody watching your back because we are the cyber warriors on today's battlefield for tomorrow's victory. Hopefully what we're going to cover today is a lot of education, and you'll learn a little bit more about Solutions Granted and what we have to offer. But the first thing I want to talk about are some basics that matter every day that are just being missed. Recently, we heard from Microsoft that they were talking about their ecosystem, and they were talking about the amount of users by percentage that are using MFA, and we found out that it is only 32% of users using MFA. That's a really sad number. If there are 3 of you sitting at a table right now and you're all from 3 different companies, the likelihood is only one of you is doing it well and doing it complete. To add on to that a little bit, we're talking about 1.2 million accounts every month that get compromised, and 99.3% of them don't have MFA. What that tells me and what that should tell you is this is a battle we can win, but we have to win it together. We have to choose to do the right things. We have to choose to get our customers to come along for this journey, to convince them this is the necessities of everyday basics that really matter. I've put MDR on one of the everyday basics. EDR is an amazing technology, that endpoint detection and response, and it tells you so much information. The problem with EDR, if the 2 a.m. on Tuesday comes about and nobody's sitting there watching it, it's telling you, danger, Will Robinson, danger, there's a problem, but nobody's there to hear it. Nobody's there to listen. Nobody's there to respond. Nobody's there to mitigate. That's where the MDR comes into place. It takes the technology around your EDR and staffs it with 24/7 eyes on glass, hands on keyboard, so that you truly have somebody looking out for you and your client's best interest. Now, I'm going to briefly talk about this open RDP, and everybody shakes their head and everybody says, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Every month, at least once a month, my team is responding to a compromise where we find out that open RDP exists. And a lot of times it goes even further than that. They didn't have MFA. The user account wasn't just a user. It was also a domain admin. It might have even been an enterprise admin and a schema admin. As many stakes as could be made, they are made. So let's try to team this together to make it this real collaborative effort so that we're doing some of the basics so we can get this road of cybersecurity on the right path and stop having our customers lose as often as they are. It's not all doom and gloom. There is a lot of opportunity out there for you. If you think 51% of small businesses have no cybersecurity measures in place, that should leave you with a lot of hope, a lot of opportunity. Every other new client that you talk to is green space. It's open for the taking. You get to be a savior. You get to be a protector. You get to bring them something that they don't have today. And when you see that 75% of SMBs will not continue to operate if they're hit with ransomware, you truly have this opportunity to do something for them that they're not doing for themselves. In the words of Ronald Reagan, when he said, the greatest leaders aren't the leaders who do the greatest things. They're the ones who inspire the others to do the greatest things. Inspire your clients to do the greatest things. Get them to do the hard work, because the hard work is what matters, and it's what's going to keep them safe. It's going to give them the opportunity to be successful and continue to stay in business. I hear this one quite often. Clients come in, MSPs are talking to us and say, we talk about security. My client wants me to be responsible. I want the manufacturers to be responsible. I need you as the SOC as a service, MSSP, threat hunters, analysts to be completely responsible. That's not a good team story. If you think the greatest of all times, let's go back to the Chicago Bulls. And yes, Michael Jordan was there. But if he didn't have the team that he had, the Chicago Bulls would have not been the team that they were. You can also look at any team, any sport, anything that's going on out there today that requires a group of individuals. So you, as the MSP, you need to get your clients to believe that they have responsibility for this, because it is their data and they have to be more concerned about it than you are. You, the MSP, have to take this and take it to the next level. If you want your clients to be onboarded in a certain way, make sure you're onboarding yourself at least that hard, if not harder. Myself, as the CEO and founder of Solutions Granted, as the MSSP, we have to make sure that we are also doing better and greater things so that we can inspire you through our leadership and the manufacturers. Remember that old adage when we were children and we're out in the backyard, as my father had called me in one day and I'm back there yelling at my friends and pointing my finger. And he says, hey, when you're pointing one finger at somebody else, how many is pointing back at you? Let's be responsible together, and we can really turn the tide on what's happening in the threat landscape today. At Solutions Granted, being this MSSP, we have been on the CRN Security 100 for 5 years. We've been a top global MSSP for so many years, and number 57 last year. We want to talk about the incident response cycle. Well, everybody goes immediately to remediation. I want you to do this for me. I want you to do this for me. But you have to start at phase 1, where we prepare to protect. We do this as a collaborative effort together. Then we get into phase 2, 3, and 4, which is all the Solutions Granted responsibility. I'm not going to remediate for you, but I'm going to do it with you. There are steps in remediation that become your responsibility. Changing passwords, enabling MFA, putting different conditional access in place to make sure that your clients are not going to have this same problem again. Remember, mitigation is important. Remediation is a team effort. As I'm coming to a close here, you can see that I've put a lot of color into my slide today. A couple days before Easter, I'm playing a little bit with it. So hopefully everybody's getting the Easter egg vibe that I'm bringing to you. We believe, as the only MSSP that you need, offering our services and a cost per seat per month with no annual commits and no minimums, we have your managed detection response for your Windows, Linux, and Mac. We have your cloud detection and response for Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace. We have that SOC as a service, that XDR. And oh, don't forget, we've got one more R to add, that network detection and response for your core and critical assets. I feel like if we were a bunch of pirates running around and I could put one more R on this slide, we'd have our eye patch, we'd have our peg leg, and we'd be running around just saying R. Don't forget about the MFA. It is critically important. We heard Mark talk a little bit ago about the vulnerability assessment and management. It is the big brother to patch management. When patch management fails, something has to bring it on the rails. Somebody has to get it back. Somebody has to provide that oversight. That is what vulnerability management is for. It is your big brother to patch management when patch management isn't working well or failing or missing the mark. I want to thank everybody for their time. If you can't make it to our breakout room, scan my QR code. I promise you there's no malware in there. Send us an email. Tell us you'd like to come along for the journey. We are the managed security services provider for the channel that's here, willing to be awake 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, so you don't have to.
Awesome. Thanks, Michael. Alrighty, so the polls will be going up as we speak. All right, Kevin. So
Matt.
I'm burning out here, by the way. The sun's coming in hot. So there was some interesting, which I think is actually really great news for the industry overall. I think it's really interesting, which was the Kaseya news about the Miami Heat. So you want to tell people about that stadium news?
Yeah, so
I think it's pretty interesting.
It's very interesting. I think there's a little dust up, some comments. There's some pro, some negative comments on the boards, but I think in general, I think it's a great thing. I think certainly legitimizes this industry to have a brand, put their name on a prominent sport arena. I think is pretty exceptional. I think they signed a 17-year deal. I think I read.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Kaseya agreed to a contract with the Miami Heat to 17-year agreement on the naming rights. So it's called the Kaseya Center from this time moving forward. And I saw some of the feedback in the forums, which is fairly typical. But I think just kind of like the broader view of it, I think it's pretty awesome for the industry, though. Like, it totally just adds more legitimacy to the industry, and just more people asking what's an MSP, and who are these IT service providers that Kaseya is even talking about, and things like that. I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty interesting stamp on the Miami scene. The Miami tech scene, the South Florida tech scene is robust. I mean, it's thriving. So I think that's an understatement. You got some pretty large players in that marketplace that could have very easily done the same thing. And so the fact that one of the major platforms or brands in this industry is taking the lead on that, I think is, to your point, I think it's pretty great for the industry.
Definitely. Totally switching gears here, because I wanted to make sure, every month we do try to make sure we tell everybody about our industry calendar, and Caitlin will throw in a link to it, but it really is the most consolidated industry calendar in the channel. It breaks things down to the webinar, the lunch and learn level. Nothing really like that exists in the space. And I think, Kevin, on April 17th, we're going to start sending out a newsletter saying kind of like, here are the events happening this week in the channel. I've been doing it through my LinkedIn newsletter in the short term, but it's just an amazing way for everybody to have access to all the different resources that the vendor community is putting out for MSPs, and both in person, online, virtual, all of it. It's going to be there.
All right. Good stuff. All right. Moving forward to
our enthusiasm, Kevin. Thank you.
I love it. But we're moving forward to our sixth and final presenter of the day, Mr. Sean Morse, CTO at Titan HQ. For over 25 years, Sean's been involved in technology, leadership, strategy definition, driving transformations, worked with many of the global brands, including BMW, Xerox, Lamborghini, and T-Mobile. At Titan HQ, Sean is responsible for Titan HQ's product management, technology delivery, customer support, security, and operations, IT operations team. So there you go. Take it away.
Great. Thanks a million, Kevin. I'll share my screen. Get the show on the road. Okay. Right, thanks everybody. Great to have a chance to talk to you all this hopefully sunny morning or afternoon, wherever you are. So my name is Sean Morris. I'm the CTO at Titan HQ, and here today to talk to you a bit about our company and our offering. We're a cloud-based security provider, and our products are really MSP-centric and are built around the needs of MSPs and their needs in delivering to them, their customer base. So I'm going to give you a rundown on what we do, our product offering, how we partner with MSPs to enable cybersecurity success for your business. So I suppose to start with a little bit about our company, we were founded in 1999, so we have, I guess, a long history of working in the cybersecurity industry. We started off in email security, and it's still a core part of our offering to this day. We are based out of Galway in Ireland and the beautiful west coast of Ireland. We also have an office in Shelton, Connecticut. I suppose a couple of key things. We invest heavily in product development. Over half the company works on the product side of the house, but also very much so in the support and customer success side as well, where we have a 24/7 by 365 offering. I think the other key thing I'd call out here is that we're very focused on our own sort of compliance as a product security company, and we are SOC 2 certified as part of that. As I mentioned, we're also very focused on MSP. We're an MSP first business, and we have over 2,700 partners that we work with, as well as 12,000 clients globally. So we take a global approach to cybersecurity, with our offering being leveraged in over 150 countries worldwide. I suppose from a threat intel perspective, probably just a couple of key stats I take away from this. Our email security and web offering, web DNS filtering offerings block over 200,000 malicious phishing sites, and over 1 million malicious attachments on a daily basis. So we leverage multiple threat intelligence feeds, some of the largest in the world, and really focused on protecting our customers off the back of that. So that's a little bit about us. So moving along, our focus in terms of protecting against the threats that matter most. So we're all here to talk about cybersecurity and really the threat that it poses to the businesses and that you all protect your customers, right? And the reality is that the stats are there. I think everyone knows them, and the reality is that the important, I suppose, from our perspective, is really protecting against that high percent of cyber attacks that originate through business email compromise. So I think everyone's familiar with that. Phishing, ransomware, malware, each one represents an incredible risk to really every business on the planet, but certainly your focus on your customers. And from our perspective, that's our goal, which is really to enable you to build that cybersecurity wall you need to protect your customers at the source, and really drive a proactive approach on that. And I think when I think about this area, for me, the challenges are that we're looking at the social engineering aspect, the words that are in the email, the URLs, the graphics, and the attachments, and every single one of them is a threat vector from a business email compromise perspective. The psychology of all of this, the warfare that represents cybersecurity today is not just the technical, but also the psychological aspect. And that's really a key part. And how do we get inside the head of our end users and frankly, help them to help themselves to ensure that they will be successful in avoiding being the entry point for a significant attack. So, we want to help you and protect your customers from the threats that matter most. And that's really the goal of our product offering. So talk a little bit about that. We offer really a best-in-class SaaS cybersecurity platform that delivers a layered security solution to prevent those user vulnerabilities being exploited. And just to give you a quick rundown on that, our email security offering, Spam Titan Plus, they're really focused on driving and providing that best-in-class email security, anti-phishing, anti-malware protection for your end users, right? It's really powerful solution and is around for a very long time, and has had a ton of investment over a long period of time to really enhance its operation over time. In addition, we believe that it's important to bring web filtering and advanced threat protection through the DNS layer into play, and Web Titan is an extremely successful long-running product in that space as well. Phenomenal partner to have in your security stack. Also important to think about both the email archival and email encryption space. And in that, we also offer ArcTitan and EncryptTitan, which drives the whole, I suppose, archival and email encryption perspective. And protecting against data loss, particularly in that space, is very important. And the final element of our stack is SafeTitan, which is security awareness training. So it allows you to drive that phishing simulation, delivery of training, really important measures to ensure that you're keeping your end users on their toes, that they're trained and up to date on the latest things that are happening from a cybersecurity perspective. And also phenomenal ad, frankly, and from a regulatory and email legal compliance perspective. Cyber insurance often requires these things are in place, and we deliver a phenomenal solution in that regard. So we get managed services. I think just to put it in simple terms, we spend a lot of time talking to our MSP partners. We really understand the challenges you face. I think I'd kind of summarize some of them here, right? The efficiency is a kind of a critical aspect for MSPs. You need a partner that can work with you, help you sell. Margin, absolutely. Of course, the performance from a security perspective. And finally, that you have a platform that allows you to manage and avoid having to deal with multiple screens. I would add one more thing here, which is having the right type of support in the background is also really important. Just to call out, we are trusted by lots of big players in the MSP space, some call out here, and also some big brands from a general, I suppose, global perspective. We're delighted that every now and then some of our customers are actually really happy to endorse us and humbled by that. I'd also call out that our pricing model is really focused on enabling success for MSPs. So with tiered pricing, with discounting, obviously internal use and NF4 licensing provided, trial and demo accounts, etc., and a sliding and increasing discount scale based on how big your business is with us. So I suppose to wrap up, a couple of key points. We have a great product stack. It brings everything together in terms of looking at your email and web security, dealing with BEC, ransomware, malware, phishing threats. It's all covered. Email archival and encryption, and perhaps very importantly, strengthening your human layer, the final most important layer of your cybersecurity strategy. And it's all in a really great MSP-friendly strategy, MSP-friendly package. And to wrap up, just before we head to the breakout rooms, as we are last up today, a couple of incentives. First month free if you sign up for any of our products out of this event. Obviously, we do the NF4 licensing as part of all that. And anyone who books a demo will get to receive one of our famous Irish snack boxes posted straight to your home. And if that is an incentive, I don't know what it is. So with that, I'd like to thank you for your time. This has been Sean Morris from Titan HQ, and look forward to speaking to you all at our breakout room. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it. All right. It's gotten out of hand out here. All right.
I see that.
All right. So we're putting up the final poll questions for Titan HQ. And then in terms of the rest of what will happen after those polls, you'll get kind of this final grouping of polls that'll be for the MSPs if you want to take advantage of that Uber Eats offer that we made. And then you'll have a chance to vote for best pitch, best presentation, however you want to refer to it. And then we'll do closing statements. And then what's going to happen is your screen's going to change pretty much immediately, and you'll have access to the various breakout sessions. And I'll read a couple, some of the incentives that were mentioned. I do want to mention on the Uber Eats, we usually provide those, I think, on the following Monday after you've been verified as an MSP. So make that clear. But the incentives, and you can go to multiple breakouts, so you don't have to stick to just one. Solace, you join their breakout room and receive some Solace swag, plus schedule a follow-up meeting and you'll receive a $25 Amazon gift card. Volscan, join our breakout for the chance to win a $150 Amazon gift card. Curated Cyber, all breakout room attendees will be entered into a drawing to win an Apple AirPods. Solutions granted, giving away a Sidetrack Solo Pro 15 by 6 or 15.6 touchscreen portable monitor to one breakout room attendee. And then Titan HQ, as Sean mentioned, anyone that books a personalized demo will receive a package directly from Ireland of Irish treats. So some really cool breakout incentives. And again, you can bounce around to several of those. All right, Kevin. So as we have kind of these polls going up, any thoughts on the day or anything else that you wanted to add that we didn't talk about earlier?
No, I think we covered it. I think we hit the items we want to hit between sessions. And great presentations, and great security companies, and so yeah, it's a good day.
Yep. And again, we've got our All-Star event with Carl Lewis and Mary Lou Retton coming up on April 20th. So definitely make sure to register to attend that Pure Thought Leadership event. I think we've got 20 or 25 different speakers from the industry that'll be providing thought leadership panels on that event. And then we'll give a little bit more time on the Titan polls before putting up the final polls of the day.
I guess we'll have to let you back in the house, huh?
I think so.
At some point.
All right, so I just got word the award polls are up along with the Uber Eats. So we usually give about 30 seconds for those. And other than that, Kevin, pleasure as always.
Yep.
Even though you locked me out of your house to do this.
I thought I had my 16-year-old bring out drinks. No.
No, I received nothing.
Oh, all right. Well, maybe next time.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and close things out and allow you guys to enter into the breakout sessions. Thank you all for joining as always, and hopefully we'll see you on April 20th at the All-Star event.